Welcome to this presentation on enterprise architecture, using Enterprise Architect and the Sparx modeling platform. You will learn about some of the tools and facilities available to enterprise architects and managers to create and manage all types of architectures, from business to technology architectures. You develop and review the models collaboratively, and you can share them with customers and a range of other disciplines from executives, strategists, managers to solution architects and more. In this presentation we will cover the following topics. Visualize the enterprise with dashboards and diagrams. Get to know your stakeholders and teams. Best practice with architecture frameworks and processes. Use industry-standard languages and representations. Communicate and integrate with model exchange. Visualize the enterprise with dashboards and diagrams. In this topic, you will learn how the enterprise can be viewed in simple and compelling charts such as sunburst and bubble charts with drill down. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including: get real-time views of enterprise information, engage business stakeholders with compelling views, create tailored stakeholder dashboards and diagrams, drill down from dashboards to underlying properties, and more. Visualize strategic applications and gain powerful and revealing insights into their strategic importance, complexity, and cost. These expressive diagrams will appeal to business and technical stakeholders who need to manage application portfolios, and ensure they provide a return on investment, and demonstrate demonstrable value to the business. Drill down through multiple dimensions with sunburst charts that allow you to quickly invert dimensions, such as programs, projects, and strategic, tactical, and obsolete application groups. Unlock the wealth of information in the repository, and serve it to corporate stakeholders and executives in compelling and interactive charts. You can change report settings such as colors and styles to align with your organization's conventions. Survey your capability landscape, and create compelling diagrams that model capability hierarchies, and drill down to reveal the underlying metadata associated with each capability. Communicate using highly polished corporate diagrams to appeal to strategic, business, and technical stakeholders, including executives and managers. You can quickly and easily create these diagrams using the custom style or convert existing diagrams to this customized presentation. Instantly switch between these non-technical views and more technical representations of the same underlying model. Create compelling manager-friendly visualizations by setting colors, transparencies, label positions and rotation, and using other styles and options. Plan the future with dynamic roadmaps, and use them to guide your organization to positive and predictable business and technology outcomes. Generate roadmaps from predefined patterns, or add them as an overlay to any existing diagram of capabilities, applications, work packages, and more. You can see the applications and other elements on a timeline and segment their lifetime into discrete phases, showing you precisely, for example, when an application will change from mainstream production into retirement. Perform a SWOT analysis and represent the results diagrammatically, identifying strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats clearly and concisely. Create diagrams for different contexts or divisions of a business or technical environment, and use colors and styles, and layout options to make the SWOT diagrams more appealing. Add rich metadata to the elements that will help analyze weaknesses and minimize threats, and provide drill downs to how you will achieve this in practice. Translate your strategy into goals and objectives with expressive balanced scorecard diagrams. Communicate the business strategy to all stakeholders and levels in your organization. Create the diagrams yourself or generate them from a model wizard pattern, and add organization-specific details for each perspective, including descriptions. Use hyperlinks to drill down to goals, objectives, requirements, user stories, use cases, and other initiative-level artifacts, ensuring you can trace from projects back to strategy. Manage strategic, tactical or segment, and solution architectures using roadmap overlays that show the relationship between these three levels of architecture. You can break down each architecture timeline into segments based on system or user-defined properties such as phase, and you can style each segment using dynamic legends. Include the diagrams in web views using Prolaborate or WebEA, or publish them in corporate documentation generated directly from the model. Find the hotspots with heat maps, and present explicit and easy-to-understand information to business and technology stakeholders. Use any metadata to drive the color gradients in the heat map, including system or user-defined properties for any element type or package. Include the diagrams in dashboards, corporate documentation generated directly from the model, or present them in a web browser using WebEA and Prolaborate. Use color and styles to create appeal and comply with corporate or project conventions. Plan strategically with drivers and goals and show how you derive these critical indicators from documents like strategic and operational plans. Reference external documents or web pages or create documents directly in Enterprise Architect and trace drivers, goals, and other elements to these documents to show their provenance. Get to know your stakeholders and teams. In this topic, you will learn how to get to know your stakeholders and architecture team, including their characteristics and relationships. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including: know your stakeholders' characteristics and concerns, understand potential stakeholder conflicts, prepare for stakeholder workshops and focus groups, learn who's who in your team, and more. Know who's who in your stakeholder community, both inside and outside your organization. Visualize the stakeholders in organizational units to help understand their influence and needs. Use stakeholder names qualified by roles to ensure you know the person to speak to about project or enterprise concerns. Careful management of stakeholders will result in positive business and project outcomes and reduce the amount of time spent in meetings and workshops. Achieve success by understanding your stakeholders and delighting them with value-based products and services. Document and visualize stakeholder characteristics, attributes, and concerns, and use these to provide a context for private interviews, workshops, and meetings, and to assist in resolving stakeholder conflicts. Understand your project and enterprise stakeholders by creating expressive maps of the significant stakeholders and their relations. When you clearly define the relationships between stakeholders, you can more easily resolve stakeholder conflicts and ensure better overall outcomes for the entire group of stakeholders. Any project staff can use the maps, reusing them across multiple initiatives. Replace the elements with icons to represent the type of stakeholder, or use avatars or photos for each stakeholder. Structure your architecture team and know each member's strengths and weaknesses and their primary role, from a chief architect, through business, information, security, to technology architect. Ensure you don't have an argument of architects by sharing this model with customers, colleagues, business, and technology stakeholders, resulting in positive project outcomes, and instead, an agreement of architects. Best practice with architecture frameworks and processes. In this topic, you will learn how to create industry best practice enterprise models using frameworks like togaf and Zachman. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including: create standards-based models and diagrams. Ensure your models are following best practices. Extend standards with flexible meta-models. Link elements between standards to express new ideas. And more. Configure the togaf architecture development method, and benefit from this powerful and ubiquitous framework, tailored to suit your organization and project needs. Create elements preconfigured to comply with the togaf technical metamodel. Make additions to the framework to complement the way you and your team work, including adding organization-specific properties to selected elements, such as business criticality, vendor, business unit, and business and technical owners. Use these properties to drive visualizations in Prolaborate, such as sunburst charts, heat maps, bubble charts, and more. Foster reuse of architectural assets such as models, patterns, lists, diagrams, and more, by structuring the repository based on the enterprise continuum. Create insightful classifications for your architectures and solutions, showing how they evolve in response to industry forces and drivers, and providing opportunities for reuse. Implement the reusable asset service as an industry and enterprise solution for keeping a register of reusable artifacts, including their dependencies, and draw upon them for future initiatives. Model your organization's or team's architecture process, and create diagrams and descriptions to ensure your team understands the method, and can use it to produce strategic, tactical, or solution architectures. Add hyperlinks to activities to drill down to lower levels of the process and provide a detailed description of each step, including inputs and outputs. Add your own meta-model and metadata to your architectural descriptions to create organization-specific elements that extend the standard languages such as Archimate and the Unified Modeling Language. Use Enterprise Architect's world-class profile and technology system to go beyond a simple meta-model, and add report templates, toolboxes, diagrams, predefined and structured properties with user interface controls such as drop-downs, spin controls, calendars, color pickers, and many more. Use the two-dimensional matrix of the Zachman framework to organize and categorize architectural content. You can use Zachman's 36-cell matrix in conjunction with togaf's architecture development method. When cells are missing content, it is an indicator that there is a gap in the architecture that you need to fill. Use the matrix as a launchpad to the underlying models and diagrams. Use an enterprise-grade repository that can store all the elements, matrices, and diagrams of your architecture landscape. Enjoy rigorous security with the flexibility to collaborate with colleagues, consultants, and customers in the desktop and browser-based tools. Assemble strategic, tactical, and solution architectures, viewpoints, reference and standards libraries, and add entries to a governance log. Create organization or team metamodels with user-defined properties that can be used to drive powerful web-based visualizations in the desktop tool, WebEA, and the powerful Prolaborate dashboards. Get off to a flying start by automatically injecting elements and diagrams into your repository using the Model Wizard patterns. Browse the extensive pattern library, which contains all the standard Archimate viewpoints, and peruse the documentation that accompanies each pattern, to understand the benefit it will bring, and how best to work with the pattern. Structure your architecture landscape into a hierarchy of architectures, from strategic through tactical or segment to solution architectures. Use a nested package diagram to clearly show how these architectures are related or visualize them in a tree in the browser window. Add dynamic legends to the diagram to color the different levels of architecture, and add metadata and notes to describe them in detail. Combine frameworks such as togaf and Zachman to create a best-of-breed repository, underpinned by the togaf architecture development method and Zachman's 36-cell content matrix. You can use different frameworks together and tailor them to suit your needs, including adding metadata properties to packages and elements and adding your own methods or sub-processes. Define lightweight, medium, and heavy-duty frameworks for different size architecture engagements. Use industry-standard languages and representations. In this topic you will learn to create industry best practice enterprise models using languages like Archimate supplemented by the Unified Modeling Language. By the end of the topic you will have seen benefits, including: create industry-standard architectures using Archimate. Create strategic, tactical and solution architectures. Produce smart capability diagrams with dynamic legends. Model principles, capabilities, reference models. And more. Archimate has become the lingua franca or de facto language for architecture description. Enterprise Architect fully implements the language, including providing a rich set of model patterns to automatically inject any standard viewpoint into your model, comprising elements and diagrams. Create content in any layer or aspect of the language, and add metadata to any element using the powerful and flexible profile and technology facility. Devise hierarchies to decompose strategic architectures into tactical or segment, and solution or capability architectures. Use Enterprise Architect to show these in the browser or diagrams using containment, including descriptions and properties of each architecture. Drill down from the solution architectures to goals and objectives and solution and implementation artifacts, to achieve traceability and ensure there are no gaps or scope creep introduced. Map from drivers to goals, objectives, requirements, and solution artifacts. Present this information diagrammatically to ensure the strategists and project teams clearly understand the value and rationale of a solution. Use the power of enterprise architect to span all disciplines from strategy to solution architectures, implementation, transitions, and support, thus removing seams that result from using multiple tools or platforms. Find and manage the gaps between baseline and transition or target architectures, and use these to assess the size of the transition or change. Use enterprise architect's gap matrices to visualize missing, eliminated, or new items between any two architectures. Use architecture or solution building blocks in the matrix to understand the change from an abstract or solution viewpoint, and include these in web views or publications generated directly from the model. Visualize capabilities and other elements in a matrix, and immediately identify the critical criteria such as business and customer value, risk, and more. Create your own criteria and set appropriate values to display in the matrix. You can use the context menu to find the selected elements in the browser, and the diagrams where they appear. Save the matrix definition or export the information to a spreadsheet. Express meaning and create compelling diagrams using images from a user-defined or system image library. Import vector or raster-based images from various sources, and then include them in your diagrams to create appeal for stakeholders. Discover where images have been used in your diagrams by selecting the usage option, and update these images globally from the library window. Create appeal for non-technical stakeholders by adding images to diagrams to create expressive narratives and compelling representations that will engage business and technical stakeholders, who are typically unfamiliar with the modeling languages. Use a built-in library of handy images or create your own at a team, project, organization, or industry level. Incorporate the diagrams with their images in web pages, or reports and publications automatically generated from the model, and view them in WebEA and Prolaborate. Define your principles and encourage enterprise and solution architects to adhere to them. Create business, information, application, technology, security principles, and more. You can define properties such as descriptions, rationale, implications, and more to ensure they are well understood and used appropriately. Show the principle's applicability to a particular solution or context, or offer dispensations when it does not comply. Ensure your architectures are principled and that project and implementation teams not only know the applicable principles but can see how an architect has applied them in the context of their project artifacts. Use relationship notes to describe how a principle applies to a given part of the model, at a package or element level, and show these in diagrams that unambiguously illustrate the level of compliance. Create a catalog of business or technology capabilities and use these to drive architecture and solution planning. Capabilities are fundamental to understanding an enterprise and the way it operates. Define the capabilities directly in the browser or a diagram, or import a predefined structure from the model wizard patterns, or alternatively import them from an existing spreadsheet. Create an overall chart showing nesting or add diagrams at any level of the hierarchy. Visualize capabilities graphically in diagrams, and print them as wall charts using nesting to show their hierarchy. Use dynamic legends to color them based on metadata and system and user-defined properties. Create relationships between capabilities and other modeling elements such as motivation concepts including drivers and goals, and business and application elements such as functions, processes, and application components. Make capabilities smart, by showing information about the capabilities in 2 dimensions using dynamic legends that automatically color the diagram. Bring your capabilities to life using built-in or user-defined properties such as priority, business criticality, and technology enablement. Watch as the tool dynamically updates diagrams in response to changes in element properties. Define your own legends and colors, set alternate legend display names, and reuse legends by dragging them from the browser onto any diagram canvas. Create and view business and technical reference models at any layer of the archimate language, from strategy, information, and application down to the technology and physical layers. Foster reuse across all architectures and initiatives by making these reference models available to all modelers, and creating usage patterns that describe how to include them in a particular context. Add legends to dynamically color the diagrams based on system or user-defined properties. Communicate and integrate with model exchange. In this topic, you will learn how to collaborate with colleagues and customers, create corporate publications, and exchange content with other tools like Excel and SharePoint. By the end of the topic, you will have seen benefits, including view models in real time through a web browser, publish high-quality corporate documents, integrate with more than 30 other tools, exchange data with spreadsheets and documents, and more. Put architecture in your pocket, and instantly view real-time models in a browser no matter where you are. View the models on a notebook, tablet, or smartphone, and create new requirements, application components, and more, adding notes and other details as required. Collaborate with colleagues, consultants, and customers by entering into discussions, chat, reviews, and viewing each other's model additions and changes, in real time. Collaborate with customers, colleagues, and consultants, and build systems in record time using the collaboration and team features. Enterprise Architect is built from the ground up as a collaboration platform for sharing ideas and working and modeling together. Collaborate with your team and stakeholders no matter where they are located, and chat, discuss, comment, review, and share strategies, architectures, solutions, and visualizations, all in real time. Ensure you are on track with reviews of essential or critical parts of your model. Invite colleagues or others, like customers and consultants, to review model content such as architecture descriptions, principles, catalogs, and diagrams. Conduct reviews inside the desktop tool or in a web browser using the powerful collaboration features of the ProCloud server. Exchange requirements, capabilities, building blocks, application components, risks, and other elements with spreadsheets using the CSV Exchange utility. Save time and effort by importing existing definitions from spreadsheets, including inbuilt properties such as type, status, and priority, or user-defined properties such as business owner or criticality. Create and reuse your specifications for both import and export of modeling information. Check for high-quality architectures and see how your models stack up, by applying a checklist to architectures, packages, or individual elements. Extend the checklist to other elements such as capabilities, business functions, application components, and more, to ensure rigor and standardization. Use a checklist pattern of predefined quality characteristics, or define your organization, project, or team qualities for each element type. In this presentation we have covered the following topics. Visualize the enterprise with dashboards and diagrams. Get to know your stakeholders and teams. Best practice with architecture frameworks and processes. Use industry standard languages and representations. Communicate and integrate with model exchange.